Some people will tell you that midsize sedans don't sell anymore, that they're a breed dying at the hands of the crossover. Those people are what I like to call wrong. Sure, crossovers are a big deal these days, but midsize sedans are nothing to scoff at either, with more than 3 million units sold in North America each year. Still don't believe me? Look no further than the dozen or so models on the market, or that almost all of them have been redesigned or refreshed over the last 2 model years. This segment still has plenty of life and just about every automaker knows it. Which brings us to the 2016 Mazda 6. It's not the newest midsize sedan on the market, but it may still hold the title as the best looking. But what makes a car great is more than just skin deep, so let's take a closer look at what the 6 brings to the table. Of all the midsize sedans on the market, the Mazda 6's interior, at least in GT guise, looks and feels as close to a premium car as you can get at this price point. The quality of the material stands out from the pack right out of the gate, especially the leather used on the seats. It's rich and supple and definitely has an upmarket feel. The seats themselves are fairly comfortable and supportive, and the cabin is impressively quiet. Headroom isn't the worst in the class, but it's also not the best, with a high hip point combining with the available sunroof to make taller drivers feel a little claustrophobic. The same goes for rear seat legroom, which can definitely feel a little cramped with anyone over 6 feet sitting up front. Mazda's heads-up cockpit concept is executed to perfection here, with a driver-focused interior that puts all the controls well within view and reach. The infotainment system is solid but not spectacular, and looks and feels a little outdated compared to the competition. There's also no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but you can sync your device to make phone calls and display text messages, the latter of which only works when the car is stopped. It also has a suite of available safety features like radar cruise control, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, and automated braking. The whole package is buttoned up pretty nicely and doesn't flash and beep like a bank of slot machines when you drift too closely to lane markings. But on to the drive, which feels downright engaging. The chassis is stiff, the suspension borders on sporty, but it's still a comfortable ride. The same goes for the steering, which is sharp, but it can feel a little delicate at times. As for the engine, the only one available here is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, which is kind of a shame considering the class-leading Honda Accord does have an available V6 under the hood. It's not a deal breaker, but it definitely wouldn't hurt sales to offer a larger engine. The 4-cylinder comes mated to the choice of 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic transmissions, which puts it in rare company as one of the only midsize sedans still available with 3 pedals. Our tester came fitted with the 6-speed automatic transmission, which proved for a little bit of a mixed bag engine-transmission combination. Engine response does feel a little sluggish at times, and the car feels heavier than its 3,250-pound curb weight would suggest. On the other hand, it barely breaks a sweat on the highway, with engine speed at a ridiculously low 2,000 RPM at 70 miles per hour. Leaving the sport mode selector on the transmission alone means short runs through lower gears, while putting it in sport mode can mean it holds the gears a little too long. The sweet spot is putting it in manual mode and handling the gear changes yourself, using the paddle shifters that are honestly some of the best executed in a non-sports car on the market. Of course, that kind of defeats the purpose of buying an automatic in the first place, in which case you may as well opt for the manual and give your left foot a workout too. And then there are the regenerative brakes. It's definitely a cool feature to have in a non-hybrid or electric car, and it frees up the engine to focus less on powering the climate control and headlights and more on powering the wheels. Unlike a traditional regen system though, these brakes feel like they're working awfully hard to slow the car down, even at low speeds, It's almost like you're trying to stop a 5,000-pound luxury sedan with the brakes from a Yugo. So the Mazda6 isn't perfect. It could use a boost when it comes to power delivery or the option of a larger engine, but I would easily put it on the same playing field as the likes of the Accord or the Toyota Camry. Crossovers may be a big deal these days, but there's nothing wrong with a tried and true sedan. And as this Mazda6 proves, it has all the right stuff to keep this segment rolling along for years to come.